First of all, I'd like to present myself. So I am a PhD student in the National Engineering School of Tunis, and I have some comments. So I'd like to start first. I think the major problem between the industry and the university is when the professors suggest the program of education, they do not invite an industrial member to advise them if this subject is useful or not.
So if that is the case, how can you introduce a solution within that process?
Yes, I think that we have to update the program of education, how to say, and we try in the same time to solve the problems of the professors and the problems of the industrials.
But you do want to invite the industry in that process.
Yeah.
So how would you want to have
for example,
in the process?
When we decide a program or when we suggest a program, we need some advices from the industry. Teach that subject and not that subject. We need this program. For example, I have some friends who actually work in some companies, and they always say to me that we have a very big difference between what we have learned and what we use now in the company. So I think we need to update the program of education.
Okay. So how about changing the rules a little bit in this discussion? Let's think that basically you, the engineers in training, are the main asset, and there is competition over you. You know, who will get your expertise and your knowledge? Okay? How would you be able to design a framework enabling you to get the industry involved?
I think in education we need lots of practice. For example, we can study numerical or analytical, but we don't have enough practice. So in fact, our engineers does not innovate or create because we need some practice, you know.
So you need lab facilities. You need to develop
this is what we need, really.
How can you get industry involved in those labs? Sponsoring labs?
Financial,
infrastructures?
Yeah. For example, they can financial some projects, and by this way we can improve the quality of the engineers. So when they go to work in industry, they do not face lots of problems.
But if I finance a lab, I'm making an expense. What do I get in return?
I can innovate, or I can create something new.
For me or for the competition? You see the issues that are being raised?
I think for both.
That's right. So we have to see how we can develop, or which actor could get in this relationship in order to ensure competition. But the main issue right now is how can you draw the interest of the industry? Now,
just I got another point before forgetting it. Why don't we have enough? How to say, for example, high experienced industrials who teach with us in the university, and this is a good solution.
Let me ask other engineers in here, what would they suggest to get the industry involved within the school system? All right, right. Get the microphone right behind you.
I think we should rather select teachers which work in this field, where the student will study. We must select teachers who worked in this field, rather than selecting teachers who only studied, I don't know, 10 years, or because the teachers who worked in this field now what's needed in the business and in the real life.
Okay, so you want to break the teaching paradigm and get, folks from the industry coming into the teaching world and saying, okay, this is what I've learned, this is what I suggest we should do within the curricula. Now, let me pass on. Just for practical purposes, we get the microphone where the microphone is.
Thank you, sir, to give me the occasion in fact, I will resume just what my colleagues had said and say that industrials can, for example, if they don't have time to come to the university and teach us as student engineers techniques and actual techniques in the field, they can, for example, do some training sessions to our teachers. And our teachers will, I think, with their knowledge, it will be easy to get the information from industrial and transfer it to us. And like this, we will reduce time either for industrials and also for teachers.
Perfect. I'm glad you're coming up with suggestions, solutions interactively. Let me get, okay, right.
I'm going to steal the microphone for a second. So I just have a quick comment. My name's Rick Schumann from Penn State University, and we've wrestled with this exact problem at Penn State. And we have an expression in America, and it says you have to hold hands before you kiss. So while laboratories are great, and we aspire to having universities come in, having industry come in and support the creation of laboratories, holding hands first is a good idea. And great examples, I've got two excellent examples sitting up here on this panel of people from industry, experts who are enthusiastic, willing, and add significant value to my program. And that's Khalil and Mohammed Abu Firas, who have volunteered to come in and talk to my students and provide that industry and that real world insight. So, and we have this happen at Penn State. I've got people coming in from Rockwell Automation, from General Electric, from Siemens, from the Naval Surface Warfare Center. Everyone wants to come in and talk to my students. And they really add value. It enables them to then make connections, direct personal connections with my students. They then want to hire my students, and then they're certainly more willing to form that deeper, longer-term relationship. So I recommend holding hands first.
Definitely.
Thank you. Well, I would love to join my two colleagues' idea, and I was thinking about to get involved in the industrial field to the university side. I mean, why, for example, don't we get used to our fresh graduated engineers? For example, I'm gonna be an engineer next year. After 2 years, I will get all experience on the field. Why don't you get used to me? I mean, why does not the university give me the chance to teach and to give my experience? I will know exactly the problems that I had on my study. And I will know the problems that I found in all the contracts and the obstacles on the field. So I will change this point of view. I mean, I will teach in a better way. I will prepare the future engineers to face out the problem that I faced either. Second things, it's about forums. Why don't university give just a sum of money? I mean, and to be an obligation. Each year we get forums. We invite all the industrial field in all the country, and why not all international countries? I mean, so that we can create a bridge between us and between the industrial field. Thank you.
Well, to rebound on that, I was on Wednesday at a forum that was established in the field that I'm working with in energy, that was at École Mohammedia d'Ingénieurs. It's the students that create a forum on a specific topic, renewable energy or energy transition or Morocco 2030, and then they bring in industry, sponsored by the industry, and then you have that whole interactive process. But you have to see that this whole process is carried out, and it's extremely important that it is carried out by the students themselves.
Yes, exactly. And while we were looking for sponsoring, I mean, we'll develop more than just one skill. We'll develop communication skills, we'll develop gesture skills also. And also we give the industrial field a chance to see our skills. Come and see us. How do we do our work exactly?
Absolutely. And what is also very interesting is that the industry is presenting whatever they are working on in front of the students.
Yes.
And sometimes you realize that it's a different audience and a different also discipline, and it's interesting to see if you grab attention or if you don't, because it's not commercial, it's a different environment. So it's a very good test for the industry as well to come in and try to inspire another generation of students that are, you know, eager to open up to the business world. Next question, please.
I wanna enjoy my colleague as my colleague he was talking about the forum. Okay, sorry. So we heard me now. Okay, our group in the university, we try to create ourselves a forum, but we didn't find sponsors. It was a big problem for us to begin and to start. For solving on the problem of the companies, as my colleague said, we had to practice more. So why the companies doesn't allow to us to visit before being an engineer? I know that it's not very impossible because we don't give something real and material to the company, but we can do it after. So why in our programs we can't visit the companies and see the procedures and all of this history? And of course, in our stages, for example, we can't find easily to do a stage. So
I'll open the floor to the panel because it's an interactive discussion. All I can say, as far as I'm concerned, is you have to identify, remember what I mentioned, the leverage. You have to see that the industrial world is very competitive. Perhaps you can enter into that competition and find the right speaker to bring on that panel, and then you'll have all the other speakers that will have to be there because their competitor is there. So this is something you have to learn also as students. If you cannot find sponsorship, how can you find leverage within an industrial environment, within a business environment? Very important. Equally important, the officials that you can bring in. You know that we're in a particular era in our history. If students ask some, representation from the government is more likely to accept coming and attending those events, which will then draw the industry. So there are lots of possibilities, but I'd like to hear it from our panel.
Si je peux commencer, je vais parler au nom du patronat marocain, puisque je suis président de la commission Relations Université-Entreprise. Notre président, c'est M. Hourani, pour ceux qui ne le connaissent pas. Alors, M. Hourani est un créateur d'entreprise, puisque c'est lui le président de HPS, pour ceux qui connaissent, donc leader dans son domaine dans tout ce qui est monétique. Et aujourd'hui, ils sont présents aussi bien en Asie, au Moyen-Orient, en Afrique, en Europe, mais aussi maintenant aux États-Unis. Donc ce que je voulais dire, c'est qu'au niveau de notre commission, elle a été créée par M. Hourani avec une phrase claire au niveau du patronat, c'est le droit d'ingérence dans l'enseignement. C'est-à-dire qu'il a annoncé ça haut et fort en disant nous avons le droit d'ingérence. En ce qui concerne, je dirais, le patronat marocain en général, et je peux aussi me permettre de parler du régional, donc la CGM régionale, nous avons mis en place un site qui s'appelle CGM Stage. Ce site-là, nous avons communiqué à toutes les universités marocaines, à toutes les facultés, à tous les directeurs d'école, leur code d'accès, de manière à ce que chaque étudiant soit libre de poster un stage, une demande de stage, et toutes les entreprises du Maroc postent les disponibilités de stage. Et il y a un lien direct entre le demandeur et l'entreprise. Donc déjà, il y a ceci. Deuxièmement, pour vous répondre, nous avons aussi proposé de mettre à disposition des écoles d'ingénieurs et des universités les meilleurs patrons d'entreprise, de manière à ce qu'ils viennent faire des conférences. Et c'est totalement ouvert, c'est-à-dire on est ouvert à... Vous me dites, demain, amenez-moi un expert pour nous faire un business plan. Je suis capable de vous trouver ce qu'il y a de mieux pour monter tout un... Je vous fais venir...